Greetings, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today. Uh, my name is Patrick, as you know. Many of you know, some of you might not. And today we're going to talk to you about a couple of things. We're going to talk to you about one thing is trust minutes. I'm going to go over some trust minutes with you guys today. And we're going to kind of talk about that subject because it doesn't get talked about enough. People talk about trust. I need a trust. I need a trust. I need a trust, but you forget the most important part. It's like you need a car, but you got to have like good tires on the car. Um, it's a necessity. It's not, you can't go around with slicks on your car. And when you do things like that, you run into major problems. And so we're gonna give you guys some preventative things today that are going to talk about or help prevent any potential problems that could arise in the future. Okay, so basically, let me go here. I'm just scrolling down through some stuff. Now, let me give you this while we're waiting. So,
The following program contains mature content and is the truth. No part herein is intended to be legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Audience discretion is advised.
okay, so when I am okay, here's where I need to go. I'm lost in there we go. I'm lost in Windows, not Microsoft Windows, but just well, I guess it is Microsoft Windows. So we this is goes out to all of you trust enthusiasts. So as we draw the curtain through our thrilling voyage of this realm of trust minutes, we reflect on peculiar charm and critical importance of records hold in the grand theater of the fiduciary duty. If trust minutes were a character in a Shakespeare play, they'd be an unsung hero, quietly keeping order while the drama unfolds around them. Without them, chaos would reign, and we'd be left adrift in a sea of ambiguities like unclear area. So let's end the journey with a bang, a bit of history and some laughter and a lot of insight. So a case of minute missteps. We'll talk about that. What happens when we don't have a good set of minutes? And I'm jumping right into this, but I'll get into some small talk after we get through with this. Consider the tale of the trustees of Buttle Bottom Estate, circa 1885. This was a grand old trust established by Sir Reginald Bumblebottom, who left behind a substantial fortune, along with a love for overly detailed instructions. The trustees, unfortunately, were not as meticulous as Sir Reginald. One trustee, Lord Fumblemore, was notorious for his lazy approach to minute taking. His notes were often riddled with errors, missing vital decisions, and sometimes written in a mix of Latin, French, and gibberish. One day, the trustees decided to invest a significant portion of the trust's assets in a promising new venture, an ostrich farm. Yes, you heard it right, ostriches. The minutes of that fateful meeting, penned by Lord Fumblemore, simply stated, "Meeting held. Decided on investment. Ostriches agreeable." When the venture failed spectacularly, as it turns out, ostriches don't live and thrive in cold English climate. The beneficiaries were understandably upset. They sought legal redress, and during the trial, the minutes were scrutinized. The judge, known for his wit, which was dry, remarked, "It appears the minutes were written by an ostrich with a quill." The lack of detail and clarity in the minutes led to the ruling against the trustees, who were found to have acted imprudently. The cautionary tale of Lady Scribble's Trust. Contrast with the meticulous record keeping of Lady Scribble's Trust circa 1892. Lady Scribble, known for her near obsessive attention to detail, had her trustees follow suit. Every meeting's minutes were documented with precision. Who said what, when, and why. At one point, the trustees were considering a rather unconventional investment in the emerging market of personal velos- velocipedes, or bicycles as we know them today. The minutes recorded an extensive debate with each trustee's opinion noted. One trustee, Lord Petalmere, was particularly enthusiastic, arguing, "These contraptions are the future. Mark my words, one day even Her Majesty will ride one." When the investment paid off handsomely, the trustees faced a challenge from a disgruntled beneficiary who believed the move too risky. However, the detailed minutes provided a clear trail of the trustees' thoughtful deliberation and justified their prudent decision making. The court, upon reviewing the minutes, ruled in favor of the trustees, emphasizing the importance of well documented decisions. The Great Pie Fiasco of 1876. And then there's an unforgettable pie fiasco of 1876. The trustees of the Lord Crustington Pie Trust decided to diversify their investments into the pie-making industry. The meeting minutes from that decision were a masterpiece of culinary and financial confusion. Trustee A: should we invest in meat pies or fruit pies? Trustee B: I propose both for the diversification of assets. Trustee C: let's keep it simple. Pies are pies. The minutes failed to capture the critical analysis, if any, behind the decision. When the pie market crumbled, quite literally, as the pies had an unfortunate tendency to fall apart, the trust suffered significant losses. In court, the judge, known for his caustic humor, quipped, "It seems the trustee's decision was half-baked." The lack of detailed reasoning in the minutes led to the verdict against the trustees, serving as a stark reminder of the importance of comprehensive documentation. These stories, humorous as they may be, underlie vital lessons in the administration of trusts. Detailed, accurate trust minutes are not just bureaucratic formalities. They're the backbone of transparent and accountable fiduciary management. They provide historical record, a defense against potential legal challenges, and a means to ensure that trustees act in the best interest of the beneficiaries. From the misadventures of the Bumblebottom estate to the meticulous practices of Lady Scribble's trust and the pie-related calamity of Lord Crustingham's trust, each case teaches us the following. Number one, clarity is key. Minutes should be clear and detailed. It should capture not just decisions, but the rationale behind the decisions. Consistency matters. Regular and thorough minute taking establishes a pattern of responsible management. And well-documented minutes can provide crucial evidence in legal disputes, protecting trustees from liability. So minutes serve as a historical archive, offering insights into trust management over time. Now let's discuss some practical tips for crafting the perfect trust minutes, and sprinkled with a bit of humor to keep things a little bit lively, because I know I'm not the most exciting. Anyway, with the date and time, we're going to start with the basics. If you remember that when you had a meeting, how can you remember what was decided? Meeting held on the third Thursday of March in the year of our Lord, whatever the year is, just after tea and scones. You just specify date and time, okay? Note who was present. That's the attendees. In attendance, Lord Fumblemore, Lady Scribble, Sir Talks-a-Lot, and an unidentified pigeon who refuses to leave the room. Agenda items list what was discussed. Discussed potential investments in ostrich farms, Lord Fumblemore's bright idea. Bicycles, Lord Petalmere's wild enthusiasm. And the pies, Trustee C's constant craving. Decisions made clearly state what was decided. Decided to invest in bicycles with the caveat that trustees must attempt to ride one first. Actions assigned. Who's doing what? Lord Petalmere to procure Velocipedes, Lady Scribble to draft investment contract, Trustee C to test pie recipes for morale, of course. Humor and levity. Don't be afraid to inject a bit of personality. Lord Fumblemore was tasked with not losing these minutes for once. As I wrap up this particular conversation, we remember that minutes are not just bureaucratic requirements. They're chronicles of your stewardship, the evidence of your prudence, and occasionally a source of great amusement. They tell the story of the trust journey, decisions, outcomes, preserving the legacy of your careful management for future generations. In the world of an anonymous trustee from the annals of history, a meeting without minutes is like a play without a script, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So as you leave here with this message, I urge you to take your minute-taking seriously, but not solemnly. Embrace the task with a sense of duty, but also with a sense of humor. After all, even the most mundane tasks can have a touch of levity, and who knows, perhaps one day your trust minutes will be studied, laughed at, and lauded for their clarity and wit. So I appreciate you guys on this particular topic, and we're going to kind of shift the topic a little bit here, and I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. Actually, what I'll do is I'm going to show you guys some things out of here and elaborate on these, expand on some of these things that are here. The trust minutes are like a ship's logbook documenting every voyage so we don't end up lost at sea or worse, in court. Accurate minutes protect trustees from liability and demonstrate the prudent management of the trust affairs. So let's talk about the history a little bit about that. Trust minutes back to the English common law and equity courts, which emphasize meticulous record keeping and fiduciary duties. So let me explain something in just a very basic terms. When you have a trust, you have somebody who's giving something to someone else for the benefit of a totally different party. When someone gives something to someone else, it's no longer in their hands. So the importance behind the minutes is to have the information as it transpires and unfolds of the thought of the decision makers who are acting on behalf of the trustee so they can show accountability to the grantor. Okay. Or if the trustee and grantor are deceased or something happens, anyone can come in and see what happened with this situation right now. Where are we with it? And they get an idea just by the messages. So it's the key points of everything that is inside of a conversation. And you guys can get, you can look on Robert's Rules of Order, and you can find that there's information in Robert's Rules of Order that has, explicit details on how to run one of these meetings. I've also got some books that have, they're very simple, but they're older books. And I'm going to share that with you guys. I was just thinking today that I've got a chancery, an actual case in chancery that I got a long time ago, and I meant to put it on here, but it just never got around to it. So I think I'm going to make a day. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or what. I'm behind. I'm not lying. I'm behind, because of the, being blindsided this week of, people that I believe that I trusted that are now, I'm finding out that they were making deals with other people behind my back. So I'm having to go and fix much of that now with those people, because these people, listen, folks, I'm going to tell you, if you don't deal with specifically myself, or if you're working with JC, then you are not, don't deal with anybody else. And I'm not telling you who to go to, okay? But if you want help from me or my group, then you need to come to me or JC, and that's it. Don't go anywhere else, because people are not honorable, and I find it really difficult for other people to go and see this after just watching what happened and have any faith in what is happening. And you know, there's a lot of things that are just not being said. Many people are, I'm getting messages from many people that are asking me if I'm the one that's behind all of this, and I'm like, no. And they said, well, they believed much differently. So I'm telling you right now from my mouth, I am not endorsing anyone else to do any other thing. Someone else is out there teaching you or trying to teach you guys and take your money to negotiable instruments, which are the creation of debt, which is just the opposite of equity jurisprudence. So you can't follow me and want to get into debt at the same time, because you either want to get out of debt or you want to remain in debt. That's it. There's only two choices. You are either honorable or you're not. You're either a public ward and you go screw people over for things that don't exist except accounting, or you are an honorable person that goes and works for your things and you exchange valuable consideration for valuable consideration. And that's just what it is. And someone that goes in and constantly is taking from places and not giving anything back is, well, we know what that's called. We know what it's called and we know what it is. So respectfully, I mean, I don't want anybody to get sucked into anything, but I can only do so much for you guys. I need you to communicate with, you know, me, so I can help you like be protected. I am not charging people like exorbitant amounts, anything that is that outside of valuable consideration. And that is, people want you to pay that on top of what I'm teaching you. And that is wrong, because what I'm teaching you is to get out. You don't learn something while you're trying to get out, while you're learning something to stay in. That doesn't make any sense, folks. It makes no sense at all. So I have zero endorsement for anyone out there that is teaching anything but equity jurisprudence. And it is not like there's nobody that I know that is teaching this. I mean, some people are mixing some things, but no one is purely in equity, and I am purely in equity. And I will continue to remain purely in equity, because being equitable means that everything is balanced. It means that you're not taking advantage of anybody else. And, you know, I mean, these are folks that have been my members for a while. That someone went and said, I'm not trying to solicit you, but I have this thing. Hello, that's a solicitation and you're a fraud. Okay. You are a scam artist. You are a predator for people when you are doing that. You are predatory. You are going to what someone else created and you are scraping people off of the top and you're the one that's creating doubt. You're creating doubt in people. So we can't create doubt in people, folks. This is a journey that everybody is on together. I was very cordial in my offerings and very cordial in how I've dealt with people in trust, right? I trusted people. And when people began to do things, I don't question them because I trust them, right? That's what trust is. You trust. You trust the people that you put in trusting positions. And when they go and breach that trust, and then they begin to go tell little white lies, it's not quite the full story, but it's not quite a lie, right? So that ends up being something that's portrayed and put out there. Well, that's how confusion gets started. And that's why, right back onto this subject, that's why trust minutes are important. Because when you have things that are documented into what you're doing, people go and they lie, and then you go back and pull out exactly what the transcripts were. Because believe me, there's a lot of trust minutes that we have that I have the transcripts on my hand, on my person, and I know exactly what was not said. And well, I'm going to say that I was never approached and given any notice. Like, any valuable consideration should be done when there is an ongoing arrangement, an agreement. So when people come to learn equity and they leave in dishonor, clearly they didn't learn what equity was. And they've got a bunch of, they're feeding off of people's need.
Excuse me.
That was kind of cool.
They're feeding off of people's needs.
You get that? They're feeding off of people's needs and people's desperation, okay? And I'm trying to show people, like, it's not happening as fast as you people want it to sometimes, but that's because you haven't finished your things that you're doing. The people that, there's people that are following that idea or that theory. It's a theory. Trust me, it's a theory. Because here's the deal, guys. Like, you can do all you want to down here, but when you step off of your throne from the beneficial position, you go down into a debtor-creditor agency relationship. And now you just gave up equitable rights because you wanted to go and do something more expeditiously. And like, that is a ward act. That's a ward mentality. I'm not getting fast enough. I want to help these people get faster. It's not a question about fast, and you're not God. We can't play God. I'm not playing God. I'm merely giving people the information that they need so they can go and make decisions that are educated, not telling them, go do this. Even though it's creating debt and debt is sin, I want you to go do this because it's going to make your other sin go away with a new sin. Okay? So we're going to Band-Aid a sin with a sin, and then we'll solve it that way. And then, well, we don't really have a plan for that because we haven't gotten that far and we don't know that much about equity to do it. So that's not a plan to me, folks. And I don't really like that idea of the people that I'm helping and I've helped all this way. And believe me, there are people out there right now that have a lot of records that are almost done. And it's just because you don't understand what it is. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with your record. It has everything to do with you not believing that what you have is adequate. And I assure you it's adequate, but you got to learn how to apply it and make it good towards what you're doing. And the only way you're going to do that is by continuing to stay in a new way of thinking, because the old way of thinking is what got you into debt and sin. So that's what it comes down to. I'm not anybody's judge. You do what you want, but like, I've tried to reach out to many of these people that feel that, you know, a quicker way to the finish line is going to be the resolution. And I'm going to tell you that there's a whole wave that comes after that you don't have answers for. And that's why I teach what I teach, because it goes all the way to the end. And if I give you something very valuable and you have no idea how to keep it, somebody's going to come and rip it right out of your hands, and you're just going to stand there and complain like a ward, because that's all you were ever taught to do, is complain like a ward. That's all we're ever taught to do. We're taught to go to a complaint department, fill out this form, go to this, oh, that department handles this. It's the same. It's a ward department, folks. It's like, okay, for all the slaves, we give them a special place to go and hang out, and you can fill out forms. These are slave forms, because the forms are already done for the people that don't know what they want to say. That's what it is. You guys, we don't know what we want to say. We have no way to articulate our words because we are wards of the state. We are codependent on the state under the Parens Patriae doctrine. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Under the Parens Patriae doctrine, your state is your daddy, because you have no daddy right now. And until we change that, it just remains that way. And as long as you're acting like you have like skin in the game, they're going to treat you like one of the players. Have you ever seen the king or queen of a kingdom jump down off of that throne and decide to go and like, I don't know, maybe mud wrestle? Not very often, huh? And probably not in public, because it just wouldn't be appropriate to family and, you know, where they come from, I guess. I don't know. But the bottom line is that you don't give up that right to go down and do something less. It's like a prince going and maybe they want to do something like it, but who would want to go and clean out like, like maybe dirty stalls from animal stalls? Like, nobody wants to do that. If you're a beneficiary of a kingdom, okay, you're not going to be cleaning your animal stalls out. Maybe you will. I mean, maybe you like to hang out with the animals. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I would probably do that, but I'm a weirdo. So if you are like, if that's something that most people would not give up that position because they're so fixed on the way that lifestyle is. And you guys have been taught that, well, I mean, think about this. We come from something that blows up, okay? And you're on the very edge of something that blows up. I'm talking about this theory of the Big Bang, okay? Like, we come from an explosion, which is the craziest garbage in the world. The whole idea that we come from an explosion makes us insignificant from the beginning. And then to tell us that we're automatically sinners because we're born into this world of sin is absolutely wrong. It's programming. It's from the beginning before you even get here. Your map is already set out for you. Like the guide where they want you to go is already set up. And I'm going to tell you something else. I truly believe this, folks. I truly, truly believe it. I'm going to tell you this because I believe this because it happened to me and, well, I just saw how it happened. So when you turn 18, there is a new set of collaterals, let's just say. I'm going to be very careful with my words, that are created. In other words, it would be like, let's pretend that we're going to call a set of accounting, or like a bill, a little number bubble. Okay, we'll call it a number bubble. So let me see if I can do something here. I can't do anything here. But anyway, when you have something that is like a charge, it's a number bubble, okay? Call it a number bubble. And like the thing up here, think of it as a charge. A charge pops up, okay? Well, it pops up on your account right here, like right here. It pops up right here. Boom. The charge up here. I can't get my arrows right. The charge up here. This is way harder than it looks. Okay, the charge up here, and just pretend that thing in the corner is a charge, right? Is what is being assessed to me, right? So if I'm being charged with something, it's an accounting number. And that accounting number is something that was done on your behalf too. Just like the new creation of the new things when you turned 18. Because when you turned 18, it was kind of a reset because they were handling everything for you before you turned 18. And now that you're 18, well, they're going to start a new slate because there's a brand new trustee in town. And we don't create trust, so we become that. And then we start using it the wrong way, which is just a presumption. And we don't know how to get out of that. We don't know how to fix it. And then we don't know how to do it without undoing everything that we just created in a dishonorable way. And so some of these things that I teach have evolved to where we've been able to really like change the status of these circumstances with this accounting quickly. Simply because you just know that, you know, the trust position, how that trust position relates. And you guys have to remember that you are grantors of every signature you gave. You granted a signature, and that signature stood for a number bubble, okay? And that number bubble, you don't know what it is because you just gave the authority away, not the rights to like know what the number bubble, how that number bubble was made. It's like the map is missing. And so once you go, and what I'm teaching you guys is if you choose to do so, nobody is compelled to do so. This is a choice that once you learn things about really where you stand in your I don't want to say lineage, but in your nativity with your existence, your being, then you can make a better educated decision. We're talking about like, let's pretend like we're talking like this, okay? All of you people, I want you to let me know if you want me to beam you up. We're going to beam you all up because here's the thing is that the technology that we have that is out there and available to people now is something that will allow you guys to really make a difference in your learning. And I'm going to present this stuff to you in like what we're going to do and have in this class. I've gotten some really amazing stuff that I've kind of had some breakthroughs with that occurred this week. It was really ironic because, you know, I didn't really expect to make the progress, but yeah, so I have things that, you know, I'm a little bit behind on. I was going to get you guys for the class by today, but that's going to be probably tomorrow because I just have been swamped with other things. I haven't even been able to like do what I need to do for my own personal stuff today. So, but let's move on. I'm going to just talk about some tips for keeping. Well, we'll talk about tips and then pitfalls, but the tips, you want to have clarity in your minutes, okay? Back to the minutes. You want conciseness in your minutes and you want completeness in your minutes. We already briefly touched on that. But you got to avoid the three P's. You got to avoid the three P's. The three P's are procrastination, poor handwriting, and pigeons delivering minutes. Because who can trust a pigeon, right? Humorous anecdotes. You don't want your minutes to look like they were written by a caffeinated squirrel, okay? You don't want your minutes to look like they were written by a caffeinated squirrel. In Morley versus Morley in 1871, unclear minutes led to a dispute among beneficiaries over whether an investment decision had been approved. And that's Law Reports, Chancery Division, Volume 7, page 12. You guys can look more information on that if you want. Let me go here, and I'm just going to show this because I don't know why I don't do that more often, but okay, so the legal requirements for trust minutes in equity jurisprudence, they reflect the trustee's adherence to the fiduciary duties. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to show the trustees how they are following specifically the duties that they have according to the trust, both in loyalty and in prudence. Okay. So Lord Eldon once said, equity regards as done that which ought to be done. So write it down properly. That's literally his quote. Principles of Equity, and that's Joseph Story, Volume 1, page 57. In Knight versus Knight in 1840, the court emphasized the importance of proper documentation in trust administration, influencing modern minute-keeping practices. And that's Bevan's Reports, Volume 11, page 148. So here's some mnemonics for all of you trustees. Remember your ABCs. Trustees, remember your ABCs. Always be consistent. ABC, always be consistent. Like a Victorian housemaid, check twice, write nice, and never assume. A trustee in Reed Jones Trusts in 1893 meticulously documented every meeting, ensuring clarity in the administration process. So that's just the opposite. That was a trustee in the minutes. It was so meticulously documented. You guys can find that in Chancery Division Reports, Volume 2, page 101. So case studies and examples, we'll talk about a little bit about this. Eyre versus Countess of Shaftesbury in 1723, the court scrutinized the trustees' records, highlighting the necessity of detailed minutes to avoid mismanagement accusations. And that's Peer Williams Reports, Volume 2, page 103. Thus, Lord Bumblebottom's trust empire crumbled due to a misplaced comma. Oh, the tragedy. You guys, we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. In Re Londonderry's settlement, 1901, the clear and detailed minutes protected the trustees from beneficiary disputes. So you guys, as trustees, when beneficiaries dispute things, you have minutes that protect you from even beneficiaries when they make claims. So it's just cover your rear end, cover your booty. Chancery Reports, Volume 1, page 436. So the parallels between historical examples and modern-day administration. If Sir Isaac Newton were a trustee, he'd say, for every action in your minutes, there's an equal and opposite reaction from the beneficiaries. In Boardman versus Phipps in 1967, the importance of accurate trustees' records was reiterated, showing the enduring relevance of historical principles. Law Reports, Appeal Cases, Volume 2, page 46. So, accurate and detailed trust minutes are crucial for transparency, accountability, and legal protection. I want to go on to one other thing because I want to talk about it really briefly. Maybe I already did that. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. I want to show you guys something, but I've got to find it on, and then show the screen here. So I got to send it to myself, and then I'm gonna have to show this. So I don't know how this works. I hope that like they don't flip out and like try to make me give me a strike or anything. But I'm gonna share with you guys. This is a YouTube video. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in. I'm gonna put the link in here in the chat, and so that I am giving full disclosure on where it is. And this link I'm going to share with you guys too. So let me go to present. I'm going to have to bring it up first. Here, let me bring it up. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is going to give me a commercial, for goodness sakes. Okay, hold on. I'm almost there, guys. It's playing right now, but I gotta bring it up the right way. So this is from Breakfast Television on YouTube. Breakfast Television is I sent you guys the link in there for Breakfast Television, and they did a show on a news station. So I'm going to show this to you guys. I hope this comes out. I really hope this is okay and I don't like do anything wrong. But this is the video itself. To share audio, share a tab or screen. Okay, so I got to do it another way. Okay, so I got to do it this way. All right. So this is the video. Okay, so again, disclaimer. I'm going to give you guys a disclaimer. This is not my video. This is on another link that is located in the screen there or in the chat. Did disclose it, and it is a YouTube video from. You guys can get the link in the chat. Here it is. Oops, it's muted. So too bad you guys can't listen to it. Anyway, read the lips. So this is from the couch. This is from the couch, guys. It's about a Florida guy. He called. He was on a Zoom, folks. Corey Harris. Watch, guys. They're going to show it. Watch this. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry, folks. but I gotta say that that is one of the funniest things that I have ever seen in my life. That man, uh, um, so I guess that the one thing that I could say about that, he was trying to show up and do the right thing, and his own honesty by doing the right thing. Um, well, the right thing. What's the right thing? Would the right thing be maybe putting on a screen background? Because that's really the only thing he did wrong, right? Um, what happened was they identified this man in the middle of a commercial transaction. So he showed up as the surety for that party. He had already admitted he was in a contract because he wouldn't be there if he wasn't, right? He is showing up for being a trustee in breach of trust, and he does it. He shows up while breaching trust. Do you guys get it? Like, that's the whole funny part of all this. He breached the trust, and then he went and he created another situation where when he showed up to be in honor, he was in dishonor. So he came with unclean hands, but he came with unclean hands, like showed up with unclean hands, like, here's my dirty hands, can you help me? And they're like, you got dirty hands, we're not helping you. And so he just ended up, they put a warrant out for his arrest because he just literally showed up and said, I am the guy that broke your other rule, and I'm breaking another rule right now. So he's telling them I can't be trusted, and that's what they're going to punish him for. It's merely just a trustee in breach of trust, folks. It has nothing to do with driving on a suspended license. Driving is a commercial word. If you look up Title 27 Code of Federal Regulations 72.11, all crimes are considered commercial, which means that what they've done is they've taken everything that is the common law crime or the non-common law crime, and in other words, everything that is not harming someone's life, liberty, or property, and they've converted that into a number bubble. Like I told you earlier, a number bubble. That number bubble is now something that is holding a memory of something that you already agreed to. And we have authority on these, but you got to learn what that authority is. And it's not to go and create another thing that just you're trying to get rid of one thing with another thing. You guys understand that promissory notes and bills of exchange are just that. Promissory notes are something that you're promising. It's another promise. You just made a promise. You just went and said, I want to pay you something that I can't pay you. And now you just go make another promise that says I can't pay you again so you can get more time to make another promise you can't make again. It doesn't make any sense. A bill of exchange is exactly that. It's a bill of exchange for something else. But you guys don't even know what that does. It's just, you're thinking, it's just, I'm going to take this bill and pay this off and I'm not going to have to worry about it again. There's tax implications from jumping down there and wanting to mud wrestle when you are a prince or a princess. And it's not just having mud in your orifices in your armpits either. It's having the inconvenience of what goes with the qualities of being subordinate to a beneficial heir to something. And you guys are all in the positions to take the authority, but what if I gave you guys, I guess the only way I can really emphasize and try to express this is if I said, okay, what if like you guys were told that you all come in as a character in this world, okay? And there's 10 levels of characters. And the 10th level is like, I don't know, maybe we want to call it the videos that they make of the people at Walmart that they just like the least attractive things, I guess. And then, take those things and that would be number 10, I guess. I don't know. We're just trying to get some quasi classification of an understanding of this. But say we classify that and we move the top to number 1, where the number 10s are always working to get to number 1 because they want to be number 1. But then you get to number 3 or number 2 or number 4, right around there. And then you got people that are trying to sell you snake oil that only will allow you to get to number 2 because that's as far as they've gotten. And I'm telling you that number 1 is with your creator, not with the creation of fake things that don't exist and promises to pay and exchanges of bills for bills that don't exist. It's not your job to be doing bills, guys and gals. It's not your job. Bills were never your job. Who told you that? Your mom and dad told you that because your mom and dad didn't know that you had a trust. And the trust that you have is got to be established. You got to go back and learn where all that stuff came from because it exists. It's just not told to you. It's like, well, it's not really convenient. You guys, I always encourage you guys to go watch the Killers of the Flower Moon. If you haven't seen that, go read the book. Maybe I'll do a summary of that. I should probably do a summary of that and exactly what happened. That's probably what I'm going to do. We'll plan on doing that. I'll do that for my next one, or one of my next ones, one of the future upcoming ones. And the things that I try to talk about the experiences that I've had on here because trust minutes were something that were never really, they were told that to me they were important, but they were not like ever given. And there's nowhere you can really go and find any information on it. So what I gave you today is really good source of information for establishing your own trust minutes. And these are just also cases that you can go and look up and you can explore and find out, maybe it's something that you might be a little more interested in or something that maybe fits, your method of doing things. Let's see here. Oh, it didn't have audio. Sorry about that. If it didn't have audio, guys, I apologize. I don't know what causes that to happen or not, but I will tell you that guy, basically what happened, and I'll give you the narrative. I am so sorry about that. I didn't see the messages till right now, but what happened was that man went and he was driving to a somewhere. He was in the parking lot somewhere, and he was going to a hearing, but he was on Zoom, and he showed up to a driving while license suspended hearing while he was driving in a car on a Zoom class or on a Zoom call. So they could see him driving in the background. He's like, yeah, I'm getting ready to park. And they're like, aren't you there for a suspended license? And he's like, he couldn't answer. So that's the humor in that. I apologize. I thought I did share the audio with this. I really did, but it didn't let me. So that's probably just one of the quirky things. Anyway, I don't really have much more for today, to be honest with you guys. I've got like a whole bunch of things going on, but I'm going to call this today an early day, and I'm going to say that I will see you guys. I'm going to see you guys again next week. We're going to have an amazing class this coming Sunday. I'm going to show you guys, everything that I'm going to show you everything that that you don't know, and that the people that, not the people, the one that that has decided that they have answers. These are things that I've felt like, I don't know why I've been like not providing them, but I think that's probably the reason. And so my heart says, okay, cool. So we'll see you guys in class this week. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I appreciate you very much. And I don't have anything else. So with that, I will yield.